Admire, a creepypasta written by me. Today was a hectic day at work, and I was pretty desperate to leave. It was getting late, and I was keen on finishing up the last of the paperwork my boss gave me. As I saved the last of the documents, I looked around the other cubicles, each empty and tidy as people had left them. My mind drifted as I looked at the desolate office, so I snapped back to reality and turned off my computer. As I packed up my stuff, I could have sworn I heard someone shuffling around papers. I stopped, putting my things in my backpack, and stood up. The many square shapes of the office spaces coming into view. I saw nobody as I suspected, but I got a strange chill down my spine. All the lights were still on, so it wasn't dark enough for someone to hide. I called out into the empty office, hoping to get a response from a coworker who also had to say late. I got nothing except a small echo of my own words in reply. I walked around a few cubicles, seeing no sign of anyone having been there for a while. As I walked back to my desk, I saw some of the pictures I had up had fallen over. I found it odd because I could have sworn they were on the wall when I went to look around. I didn't take it too seriously because I could have just bumped into the wall and knocked them off. I just put them back on the wall with some lousy thumbtacks the boss supplied everybody, and I made my way to the elevator. It was only on the 3rd floor, so I could have just taken the stairs, but I preferred the elevator because it was quicker. I pushed the lobby button, waiting for the door to close. As the shiny metal doors closed, I saw the faint light of a computer flicker on. I had no time to call out for anybody, as the last of the 3rd floor was blocked away by the doors. I looked around the elevator as it descended, my arms covered in goosebumps. I'm not sure what I had to be so afraid of. People always worked late. I just thought I was the only one since my boss said I would have to work alone tonight. I almost missed my stop at the lobby as my mind wandered off. I walked out into the cool lobby. Nobody's at the front desk at this late. I listened to the sound of footsteps on the glossy tile floor, heading for the glass doors. It was dark outside, the last of the orange sun disappearing behind the tall city buildings. As I got closer to the exit, I saw the faint reflection of somebody standing in the elevator. The doors were almost shut, so as I looked back, all I saw was the closed elevator door behind me. I was really starting to feel scared now, opening the doors quickly and running out into the wet concrete. I forgot it had been raining, and I left my umbrella inside. No way was I going back inside, though. I was already creeped out enough, and I just wanted to get home. My kids were waiting for me at home anyways. They were always old enough to take care of themselves, but I still wanted to be there to tuck them in at night. As I watched a few cars pass by, a taxi approached me, and I waved my hand in the air, signaling that I wanted to get a ride. It slowed down just in front of me, and I opened the back door. As I sat down, the man asked me where I was heading to. I told him the address, and he said he could only take me so far, as the neighborhood was a private one. I sighed, saying it was fine. At this point, I just wanted to get home and have a good rest for tomorrow. The car ride felt like it took forever. As soon as the taxi stopped, I jumped out of the car and ran through the wet streets, looking back and forth as I searched for my house. As it came into view, I saw the bedroom lights on, and somebody looking up. When they saw me, they closed the curtains. The lights went out. I groaned as I thought my kids were still awake. I hurried up to the front porch, protected by the rain. I sighed, my wet hair dripping onto the concrete, so I searched for my pocket for the keys to the front door. I was about to put the key in the hole, I noticed something odd. The door was slightly ajar. I groaned and I realized the kids must have forgotten to close the door. I tell them to every night, but they just forget. As I walked inside the dark house, I yelled up the stairs, telling my naughty children to make sure to lock the door at night. I, of course, got no reply. They were clearly pretending to be asleep. I yelled for the youngest one, Gavin, and of course, no reply. and then called out for Andrew, and again I got no answer. They were really starting to get up my nerves as I marched up the stairs. I heard the creak of somebody else's footstep behind me, and I quickly turned my head to look down the stairs. Nothing but darkness. I shakily called out for Gavin, telling him what he was doing wasn't going to scare me this time. Nothing. No giggle, no disappointed sigh. I was feeling a bit spooked. I finished walking up the stairs, seeing that all the doors had been open. I peeked into the kids' room, only finding them laying still in their beds. I closed the door quietly, not wanting to disrupt them. They looked so still that they couldn't be faking this time. I sighed and walked into my own room, shutting the door behind me and turning on the light. As the light filled the room, my eyes widened in shock, and I looked at the mess that was once my clean room. I looked around to see many stains on my bed, each one a deep crimson. The smell was what hit me next. It stunk of rot, and I gagged. I was frozen in place by fear, not noticing the 2 little lumps on the bed. They were hidden by blankets, each one seemed to be the source of all the blood. I feared the worst as I remembered what I saw when I looked into the boys' room. All I saw was a bunched up blankets and pillows underneath. I approached the blood-soaked bunches of the covers, pulling them back and screaming like I never had before. Under the crimson cloth was the crumpled and mangled corpses of my children, their limbs barely hanging onto their bodies and their squishy guts hanging out haphazardly. I backed up onto the wall behind me, and I gagged, throwing up whatever was left in my stomach onto the wood floor. My tears were already streaming down my face as my eyes looked upon the bloody bodies. I saw a small amount of white poking out of one of their chest cavities. I reached my hand out to grab the note, closing my eyes and successfully grabbing the blood-soaked note. I read it slowly, breathing becoming shaky as I read the few words that lined the page. Finally mine. As I read, I didn't notice the feeling of a cold blade slowly slicing into my throat.